So we will call to order this meeting of the South Strabane Township Zoning Hearing Board, and the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have we all reviewed the minutes of last month's meeting?
Yes.
I move that we adopt the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, aye. Some of you are going to want to speak. We only have one issue before the board tonight, but anybody who will be speaking, would you please rise, take the oath, and when you come up to speak, give your name. Anybody going to speak?
The applicant first.
Take the oath, please stand.
Is the applicant here? You have to speak.
We have one application before us tonight. Requested a use by special exception. And we have, prior to tonight's meeting, one email that was sent to Kristen. And we received an anonymous missive from somebody who had some opinions that may have been directed towards this application, but because it's anonymous, it is not part of the record. So, applicant, you're up. Please explain what you intend to do. I think the application is fairly comprehensive. You don't need to add a lot, but you should give us a general overview of what your intention is with the property.
Hi, I'm Haley Sutton. I am a veterinarian. I started my own practice in 2023. My husband's dad was a veterinarian for a very long time. He passed away when we were in high school, unfortunately. When I finished vet school, I wanted to be a surgeon, and so I was training to do surgery. And unfortunately, I had some family members get sick, and I decided to end that journey and move back home. And very luckily, my husband helped me to reopen his dad's vet clinic so that I could practice and still be able to take care of my family, which I'm still doing now, thankfully, which is great that everybody's still here. We want to buy 1885. It's Robin Stang's farm. I don't know the exact address off the top of my head. I'm sorry. East Bow Street. We want to buy the property so that we can start our life together at the place. Because I currently have the vet clinic at the farm where we work now, that would obviously come with us. Right now, I am an equine. Well, I will continue to be, but I am an equine only veterinary practice that is by appointment only. So I just see probably 3 appointments a day. Some of those are farm calls. They're usually mostly farm calls, which means I get to go to people's farms. They'll call me and I'll go to where the service is needed. But obviously, if there's certain things that I need a clean space for, something really specific, I don't know if you care to hear specifics on what I do, but if I need a clean space, maybe they don't have running water at their farm, or maybe a horse had a bad laceration, a cut that, I won't be able to manage at their facility cleanly, then they can haul in if need be. I don't really see emergencies per se, because right now it's just the 2 of us and our animals. That's my husband. I was pointing at him, sorry. It's just the 2 of us and our animals, so which is really, really cool. People have been hiring me to work wherever I'm needed, so I get to travel a lot, which is really awesome. I was in Bloomsburg for 4 days last week. I'm actually out of town through September every single weekend, which is great. So I get to do a lot of adventuring and get to do work and meet a lot of cool people. I'm licensed in 5 states. So when I say I travel, I go to New York a lot. Anyways, so we would be moving ourselves, and I have 2 horses, and we have 2 pigs. They're very, very sweet. They're pets. They sit, they do tricks. I can show you if you're interested. And our dogs to the property. And then obviously the clinic would come with us. I just like to kind of point out, I think when people think of vet clinic, you're thinking of, I mean, I'm sure lots of people have small animals here. It's not that type of facility. It's just me. I joke, if you've ever seen Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby just puts me on the car. It's just me. I have one
One of my
employee.
favorite movies.
Yeah, so I laugh all the time when people are like, "Where's all your help?"
My fantasy football team's Dennett Racing,
Yeah.
corny as that may be.
So yeah, so it's not a big production. It's just us. I have one employee that helps me, and then I just hired a really awesome person to be my team mom. I needed a grown up to help me be organized because I'm working on running a business. I'm a really good vet, and I mean that with my whole heart, but I have no idea what I'm doing running my own business. So I hired a grown up mom to, that's Megan, to help me answer phones and just stay organized, answering emails as best I can. So Megan isn't there every day, but she helps answer phones for me and get back to emails. And then Jackie is there during the week, my nurse, my technician.
Tell us about traffic.
Okay, yeah. So I know
How
that's,
often is a horse brought in? or
yeah.
Would be brought into the site?
So I would say on a really good month, probably twice a day. So they would also have to leave. So they would come in and go out. Again, it's mostly farm calls. I enjoy getting to go out. I work at the Meadows Racetrack down the road, and that's where the majority of my day is spent, unfortunately. I laugh. That's my husband trains racehorses, so we have to spend a lot of time together, which is, I guess, I should say that's a good thing. I'm on camera, so. But so, yeah, normally I say in my paperwork that I see about 3 appointments a day. Like those are the appointment slots that I fill. But I would say if I was seeing appointments at the farm, it would be probably 2 a day versus if I can go out, I would see more. It just depends on like how quickly I can get where I need to go. And then I was asked some questions by the neighbors about like deliveries. I don't know how often the average person uses Amazon, but I'm sure pretty often nowadays. That makes it easy. I would say depending on what we're needing, again, and I should speak to that, like in the winter around here, we're not very busy. I'm pretty much at the track and then I just come home because not a lot of people are riding and doing things like that this time of year or that time of year. So, I mean, sometimes we'll take a week off. My technician loves skiing. They go out west a lot. So it'll just be me doing whatever is needed at the track. And then I can come home.
Would the deliveries be like an Amazon truck, or is there other kind of supplies that
It's
you would
like,
get?
usually it comes from FedEx, like the white trucks. But we do get some stuff from Amazon too, like my cleaning supplies and stuff like that. But when I'm ordering meds from companies, it'll come from FedEx usually. But that's probably twice a week. As far as trash, we talked about that. Whatever they normally do is what I would do. Robin has horses there already, so we wouldn't be bringing. There are 18 stalls on the property, 15, something in the teens of stalls. I have 2 horses, so those will definitely be there. And then otherwise, my husband works at the racetrack, so those horses live there. Every once in a while, we'll bring them in to turn them out, but that's not regular. It's just they were behaved well, so they get to come home and play. Deliveries.
Is there anything that would be considered hazardous waste created if this operation went forward.
The only thing I guess that's hazardous would be like my sharps containers, like when I use needles. But those get picked up. Because I don't do a lot, they get picked up every 3 months. And it's just one box. Like it's I don't know. They laugh at me. They're like, you could make this go out longer, but then I have to store them somewhere. So you're just like storing old needles in a cabinet. It just seems silly. So, but the sharps boxes are probably like 1 foot by, I don't know, or like that big. I'm sorry. 12 by 4. I don't know. Sorry. So,
Say approximately.
what?
Approximate size.
Approximately 12 by 4 by 3. So they're small boxes. There's usually about 2 when they come to pick up. But yeah, I don't do surgery. So it's not like I have like any parts or pieces that are around. To speak to my practice a little bit, I do performance medicine, which is what I really like. So if your horse has a job, I say, and you want them to keep doing that job, then that's what I help with. So lameness exams, horses get sore from running, using their legs. So I do lameness exams and then just whatever they need based on where they're sore, I help them with that. Stomach scoping, which I think is super cool. Checking if they have stomach ulcers, because that can be a very performance limiting issue in horses. And then airway endoscopy. So I can put a camera in the back of their throat and down their trachea to see if they have any problems that would make them have poor performance. So it's not like I'm doing, it's not like I require a lot of stuff. Like I have those pieces of equipment and then just my hands. And then something that I had brought up, which I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Robin had said that he thought that traffic and maintaining it's a private lane that we would all share. He thought that would be the biggest issue. Well, we currently, the farm where I'm working now, my husband's mother lives there. And so since we're working out of it, we maintain everything there. So we have a landscaping company that just makes everything look nice. And then we have a snow and ice removal company in the winter, which I don't have to use that. I just was bringing that up as I thought if there was a concern that we might be damaging or, I already pay for those services so I can have them come in, and the equipment that they bring in would just be a snow plow in the winter. And then the landscaping, I don't know if landscaping is the right word. They just have a little trailer with running lawnmowers and then a couple weed whackers.
If the snow plow came in,
Mhm.
what would it plow? Would it plow all the way to 136? Who maintains the road that intersects with Route 136?
Who maintains? I would guess the township, or you mean the private lane?
The private road, yes.
Who maintains it currently? Robin said that they take turns. I don't know if that's true.
We work on it together. I have a file.
Are you Bob? He said that him and Bob do it together.
Was Bob sworn in? Can you give your name and address to this young lady, please?
Bob Fulton, 1885B, East Bow.
Thank you.
More questions? Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else who would like to speak?
Hello. Okay. Understand everything she said. I didn't have a chance to talk with you. You stopped up one day and I wasn't home. Did you get my message? Oh, okay. I called you back later that day and
Since we started this process, I've been getting all these spam calls of like, we're gonna pre-approve you.
really,
And so it sends them to voicemail right away if they don't have an answer.
okay.
I talked to Robin today and he said that someone had tried to get a hold of you, and so I was going through and I saw who had called, but I didn't get to listen to it.
Okay. spam. No, that's okay. I live at 1885B, right next door to Robin and Jason Kelly. Been there 28 years, hard to believe. I was the baby kind of when I first moved there. Understand a lot of things of what you said. Our concerns is how much traffic is going to be on the private road. We take care of it 100% ourselves because it's private, it's a driveway for all of us. And our biggest concern is the traffic that's going to be on the road. Is it going to be a public place? We like the privacy back there. I have 13 acres. I think Robin had 18. Jason has 10, I believe. And we love it back there. It's quiet. And if it has a lot of traffic, that's something we're not looking forward to.
Does anybody have an easement?
We all do, I believe, to the road. Yeah. Yes, to answer your question. Along with possible signage, it may go up that advertising the business and stuff, you know, we really don't want that. We don't want a lot of extra people coming in to the road. That's our biggest concern is just not having a lot of traffic out there to take care of because we do everything ourselves. And this kind of came up a year or two ago when another neighbor was looking to sell it and cut up the properties, make it public, and it got shut down too for a lot of reasons. Because it would have been a public road then, had to been blacktop, would have probably had to put a new bridge in, and it was going to cost probably a lot of money. So I assume that's probably why South Bay didn't want to pursue it any further. Exiting the driveway onto 136 with horse trailers is dangerous. Robin will tell you that because it's you have to really swing wide to get out, and traffic coming both ways can be a little dangerous there, you know, on the turn coming from up above. And like I said, our biggest concern is we don't really want to have signs, and we like to kind of keep it private, quiet back there. We enjoy it. That's why we're there. Okay.
What's the traffic like now with the current use of the property?
Well, it's just myself, my wife, Kelly, and their family, Jason, Robin, and then Zach and Kia that live up in the Old Stone farmhouse. Pretty quiet.
Are there horse trailers? Because aren't there horses there now?
Robin.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I don't know how many. I would say, I don't know, a dozen or so a week. Maybe more. 4 to 6 a week. Okay.
I'm sorry, has she been sworn in? Your name, please?
Kelly Briggs, 1885.
Thank you. We have to have everyone on the record. I'm sorry.
So 4 to 6, roughly. That Robin has. He takes in or out. Sometimes a couple people he knows bring stuff in. We put up speed limit signs probably a year ago, 10 mile an hour, because of all the dust on the road, and we take care of it. And you'd be shocked on how many people that do come in and out, especially like Amazon and FedEx and stuff at like 25, 30 mile an hour. It drives us crazy. And so that's a concern too. Like I said, our biggest thing is it's private back there and we like it. It's quiet. And we hope.
Well, you know, the township can't enforce the speed limit on a,
No, that's why we put up speed limit signs.
well,
We didn't hire a radar police person yet.
what I'm saying is they couldn't write a ticket anyway on that
No,
without.
I know, but we put it up but. some
No, I
people-
understand why. I'm not,
Some people don't obey it.
Sure.
Robin was always good at, because he told people to come in and out. Most of them, they kept their speed down. It's the FedEx and the Amazon people that come in 20 and 30 mile an hour. And then creates a dust storm.
Yeah. So it's what, it's dirt road, red dog?
Gravel, not red dog, just gravel.
Unimproved though, okay.
Has questions?
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Kelly Briggs, 18.
We know.
I don't need to repeat. All right. 85A East Bow Street. So I am a property owner that shares a private lane with the proposed veterinary clinic use. I am asking the board to deny the special exception because I do not believe the applicant has demonstrated that the particular property and the property its access, in particular access, is appropriate for the proposed commercial use. I want to emphasize my objection is not simply that I do not want a veterinary clinic near my home. My concern involves unique circumstances of this property. My concern involves the unique circumstances of this property, a privately owned and maintained lane, unresolved PennDOT access, limited site distance onto 136, existing accident history, and recorded property restrictions. First, I want to explain the lane. The property does not have conventional footage and driveway access for a typical commercial property. Access is through a private lane associated with a 50-foot right-of-way shared by several properties. The subdivision documents specifically identify this as a private lane, and the township expressly states it is not responsible for the lane. The deeds provide property owners the right in common to use the 50-foot access right-of-way for ingress, egress, and regress. There is no written road maintenance agreement between the property owners. Historically, the existing residents have voluntarily worked together to maintain the lane. We have shared responsibilities cooperatively because we are residential users of a private lane. The applicant is a new party entering the existing agreement arrangement and is now proposing to introduce a commercial business into it. There have been no agreements regarding increased maintenance, commercial traffic, insurance, improvements, damage to the lane, or liability associated with customers and other members of the public using a privately owned road. I am asking the board to determine the legal scope. I'm not asking the board to determine the legal scope of the private easement. I understand that private easement rights may ultimately be a matter for a court. But I do believe it is important for the board to understand that is being asked to approve a commercial use that depends entirely upon private access, while these issues remain unresolved. Second, there is the Route 130 access itself. We contacted PennDOT to understand if any stipulations were put on the current entrance from the private lane onto Route 136. In doing so, PennDOT informed us that it has no highway occupancy access permit on file for this Route 136 access. PennDOT researched the original property and subdivision records and could not locate an access permit for Route 136 entrance. PennDOT has told us that an application must now be submitted for the entrance as is currently being used residentially. This application must be submitted by the property owners where the entrance to 136. That entrance falls on my property and the residents at 1885D East Bow Street. The property in question tonight does not own any property where the lane enters 136. PennDOT further explained that if someone subsequently wants to use that access for commercial purposes, that person would have to apply for a change in use, at which point proposed commercial access would undergo additional PennDOT review. Therefore, as we sit here tonight, PennDOT has not approved this 136 entrance for the commercial use as being proposed to this board. That is particularly concerning because this entrance is located on a curve with limited sight distance, and there have already been multiple accidents in the immediate vicinity of this entrance, including horse trailers. The proposed veterinary clinic would intentionally direct members of the public who are unfamiliar with this lane through this entrance. Robin comes in and out, quite frequently. He's very familiar with how to safely come in and out of the driveway. People who are not used to that entrance would not understand that. Third, there is a recorded restricted covenant affecting this property. The original deeds for the properties created from the subdivision contain the same restrictions. The deed expressly states that the restrictions are covenants running with the land. applicable to heirs and assigns and require them to be incorporated into subsequent conveyances. One of these restrictions states, no part of the premise herein conveyed shall be used as a kennel or for the boarding, lodging, or care of animals for hire or gain. The proposed business is a veterinary clinic whose fundamental purpose is providing care to animals for compensation. I recognize the enforcement of private restrictive covenant may not be outside the jurisdiction of this board, and I'm not asking the board to adjudicate the covenant tonight. I am asking that the covenant and the deed be made of the record and expressly reserve any rights that I or other property owners may have concerning the enforcement of these restrictions. Finally, I want to explain why these issues concern me as a property leveraging the private lane. Portions of the private lane are physically located on properties owned by other residents, including my property. The existing residents have maintained this lane cooperatively without a formal agreement for their own personal use. Approval of this application would introduce a fundamentally different situation. Members of the general public would be invited by a private business to regularly travel across this private property. No agreement has been reached with us concerning commercial traffic. No maintenance agreement has been established. No allocation of additional maintenance costs have been established. No agreement concerning insurance or liability has been established. And PennDOT has not yet approved Route 136 entrance for proposed commercial use. Taken all together, the proposed veterinary clinic depends on a privately owned and maintained lane, a shared 50-foot right-of-way, portions of the travel lane located on property owned by other people, no written maintenance agreement, no agreement with those owners concerning the proposed commercial use, a Route 136 entrance for which PennDOT has found no existing access permit, let alone approval for commercial use, limited sight distance at that entrance, an existing history of accidents in that area, and recorded covenant expressly prohibiting the boarding, lodging, and care of animals for hire or gain. The applicant is asking the board to approve commercial use now while several of these fundamental issues necessary to actually access and operate the commercial use remain unresolved. For those reasons, I'm respectfully asking the board to deny the special exception. If the board determines that the applicant otherwise satisfies requirements for special exception, I respectfully request that the board not issue an unconditional approval. At minimum, any approval should expressly conditioned upon the applicant obtaining all required PennDOT approvals for the proposed commercial use of the Route 136 access, along with any other governmental approvals required for the operations, as well as resolving responsibility of liability of the other property owners related to the public use of the private lane.
Thank you.
Any
So if I
questions?
understand you correctly, PennDOT hasn't approved it for residents either.
No.
So you're all illegal.
Yes, the drive was actually there before the law was.
I got you.
Yeah.
And there's restrictive covenants in the subdivision or the deeds?
In the deeds.
Do you have any citations?
I can email you the deeds.
Okay, please do.
That road's the only way to get back to that property.
Yes. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. I will take care of that momentarily.
I do. My name is John Hopper. I'm the former owner of the property. I live in 595 North Wade Avenue right now in South Strabane. But I bought the property in question. My daughter Kelly just spoke in 1981, and we lived there about 40 years. I was the first property owner to buy a subdivided parcel. In that time, the property was originally owned by Colonel Macbeth, and he operated with a pre-existing driveway that didn't have to meet PennDOT requirements because he lived there before the road was relocated, and they accommodated that. But the second property owner was Bud Arnold, Gordon Arnold subdivision. And there is a subdivision on file in Washington County with these parcels. A was originally Hopper, which is now Briggs. B is Bob Fulton. C is the property in question that's applying for this approval. And D, which was the original farmhouse. There's also E, F, well, three other properties that enter from Davis School Road. When the subdivision was approved in 1980, it was approved with the express condition that a second entrance exit would be developed, and it was developed off of Davis School Road. Now, three properties use that every day, but there was a link up that was going to be in front of the farmhouse. That was improved, so it was a passable driveway to be used by all the 7 owners on the property, but it's since been severed. So there's a problem there. When I originally moved there, I petitioned PennDOT for a reduction in speed limits because at the time, nobody was operating with trailers, but the sight distance going east on 136 falls several hundred feet below the minimum sight distance. So there was a problem, and this was before the trucking company went down into the industrial park. The industrial park was the express condition of trucks was they would go onto 130. They would only be allowed on 136 and exit further east to get onto the 84 exit. Okay. But they have since not followed that restriction. So we now have tractor trailers going up and down 136, which makes the problem worse, the sight distance problem. For about 40 years, I was always looking in my rear view mirror, worried. And many times, I chose not to turn left into that driveway rather than be hit in the rear-ended is what I was trying to say. So that's the primary risk. Now, introducing trailers on there is yet another complicating factor because they just don't have the turn radius that a car would have. There is no way for anybody, no matter how skillful, to drive up the driveway and turn right going west on 136 without using both lanes. And when they do that, somebody that's coming down without the minimum sight distance has a crash. I urge you to do everything my wise daughter expressed that needs to be done, by PennDOT to follow PennDOT's rules. I think those are the governing body since PennDOT is a state road. It's amazing. We applied for a reduction in speed limit 20 or 30 years ago and received it. But now the traffic is much worse. The number of accidents on that driveway area within a mile or a tenth of a mile segment is extensive. While I lived there, easily 20 or 30 accidents. Since then, I'm not sure. But I think it's the proper purview to finally straighten out the problem, to go through the PennDOT process of getting the driveway properly permitted, A, for residential construction, and B, possibly for commercial construction. Thanks for the ability to make the comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Judy Panassi, Green Crescent Drive. First of all, to the gentleman that last spoke, what you said about them using 136, you should go to a supervisor meeting and give them all the information you just said. Like they
Judy.
need to hear that.
I am
Sorry, I know,
happy-
I just want to say that.
Judy. I
So
am ha-
anyway, and
Judy, either listen to me or leave.
okay, yes, Art.
Okay. We are happy always to have you here, but we need you to not say what somebody else said. You need to
Okay.
give us information that helps us better
Okay.
understand the situation.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to ask that if you do pass this, that you put at least in stipulations. Because one, and I'm not saying I'm for or against this, I feel for the people who live there. I was at the meeting for the last thing that they had. I understand the concerns with that bridge and everything that's gone on with that. I also understand someone wants to buy a piece of property. What I'm just going to ask that is if you were to pass this, one of the things is if they were to put a sign up that says there's a veterinary clinic there, it is a well-known fact with crime that if you have signage up for a business, you have more crime if it's in a residential area or in a house. So people have like construction businesses, stuff like that. So if they were to put a sign up, and even though you think it's just a veterinary place, veterinary places would have drugs on for the animals and stuff like that. And if somebody were a drug addict, could know that it was there. And I'm just thinking long-term safety to say no signage for a veterinary clinic for a residential area. The other thing would be that if that bridge is still in the shape and as everybody has stated, that you would ask that before any of this was done, that something be done to that bridge be examined and looked at to see what the condition of the bridge is now, so that if things were to start to deteriorate because of that business, that they would then be found responsible to fix the bridge. Because if right now, you know, if a horse trailer is going over that bridge once a week or once a month or once a year versus 3 a day or whatever, that's a big difference. And the size of them and whatever, we have no idea.
Judy, where's the bridge? Can you?
I don't know exactly, Michelle, but from what I've been told.
Private road or is it
So
on
this is,
136?
if I'm right, you guys stop me. So, and the road's awful. You go, I've lived here forever and I raised how many years ago, the road even was there. So so when you're coming, Davis School's here. So Davis School's up here on your right. So before you get up there, am I right? And there's this road and there's mailboxes and you only know it's a road when they put their garbage up there. But there's a little road that you can't tell, Michelle, and it goes down. So if I'm right, it goes down and it goes down and there's a bridge over a creek. And then it goes over and it up to their property. So everybody has to use this little bridge from how they described it last time, that they would all go down. There's no other way in and out. And you go down a hill and you go down and it's over a creek and that's where it is. But that was the last time this was on in front of you guys. That was the concern, was the damage potentially to the bridge for somebody building a house there. And I said the exact same thing then. Like if that's part of your concern and you have a right to grant what she's asking for, whatever, like, so that these people who have not had a problem with it, if that becomes a problem due to excessive use for everything that's going on, because it is a business. And here's the thing, you can say, and I would ask you to put restrictions on that as well, because you can say anything's a business in a certain way right now, and that doesn't mean that down the road that business doesn't change. And that's going to give you the same argument that we gave over the one over, and what was that, an A2 or whatever off of Copper Kettle. So like they could just be doing horses now, but what if things change and she starts saying, and nothing against you, but like these are things like what if that changes? What if anything changes down the road? All I'm asking is that for their protection, because they have lived there, that's their community. I understand that, and absolutely that if you are going to do this, that those be some of the stipulations that you look at and you put in, and you make sure that it is to the T, like, okay, it's just for horses. Like if they were to change it to dogs or cats or rabbits, like they would have to come back in front, because again, that's going to change a lot of things that were said tonight. Like, and again, it's a business. It could change at any moment in time. So thank you.
Thank you.
She was sworn in, I presume?
Yes, I was.
Anyone else?
Did you want to address these things? Give me a minute. We'll call you back. I was gonna. Give me, let's put in the evidence. And I want to call her back anyway to address a couple of things. If that's okay, Chairman.
Come back.
Now, we have several items we'd like to put in tonight. The young lady that spoke, Kelly Briggs, I believe her name is, she did submit an email on August 6th. That's going to be Resident Exhibit 1. As the chairman noted, we did receive an anonymous email today, but since no one signed their name to it and they're not here apparently, we're going to disregard that. Zoning Hearing Board Exhibit 1 is the application itself. Applied for by Dr. Haley Rose Sutton. Signed for by the doctor. With some attachments in it. Zoning Hearing Exhibit 2 is going to be the posting of the property. Here's the picture here. Zoning Hearing Board Exhibit 3 is going to be the letter to the property owner from Kristen, and also this was sent to everyone within 300 feet. That's attached as well. That's going to be Exhibit 3. Exhibit 4 is going to be the notice that was in the Observer Reporter on the 2 dates as required by the MPC, 2 successive weeks. That's Exhibit 4. Exhibit 5 is going to be certain portions. If I can strike that, go back to the Observer Reporter ad. That was in 2 dates as required by the MPC, those being July 27th and August 3rd in accordance with the proof of publication. Zoning Hearing Exhibit 5 is going to be portions of the South Strabane zoning ordinance, that being Section 245, Article 4, A1 Agricultural District, which contains the provision that allows for a use by special exception. That'd be item I, C1I, veterinary clinics, subject to subsection 245165. 241165 contains the following, which I'll ask the doctor here in a minute. The minimum lot area required by a vet clinic in the A1 district shall be 5 acres. Subsection B doesn't apply to her. Subsection C, veterinary clinics in the A1 district may include outdoor kennels or runs, provide the requirements of subsection 24177 are met. Subsection D doesn't apply to her. Subsection E, overnight boarding of animals other than for medical supervision shall be permitted if the animals are housed overnight within a completely enclosed building as defined herein. F, kennels associated with veterinary clinics shall be licensed by the Commonwealth and shall continue to maintain a valid license throughout their operations. Any suspension of license shall be a violation of this chapter. G, kennels shall comply with the standards of 145-134. H, odors shall be controlled so to comply with the performance standards of subsection 245-170. And lastly, I, the veterinary clinic shall not be located within 300 feet of an occupied dwelling on adjacent property unless the building is soundproof. Lastly, part of this Exhibit 5 is the zoning ordinance, Article 15, approval of uses by special exception, expiration of approval. I'm not going to read all those. I'm just going to incorporate those into the record. So I'd ask that we move in as exhibits, Resident Exhibit 1, Zoning Hearing Board Exhibits 1 through 5.
I move that we enter into the record exhibits 1 through 5.
A second.
All in favor?
And also Resident Exhibit 1, the email from the young lady.
Do you want me to provide my typed comments and also?
Do you have those here tonight?
I have electronic versions tonight.
Why don't you email them to her? You have Kristen's email, ma'am? Okay, so we moved her exhibit 1 in and also our exhibits 1 through 5. I'll turn it back over to the chairman. I apologize for interrupting, sir.
Typically, I'm ready for conversation. Typically, we look to the code as it applies to the specific property. And we look to how any variance, any exception, any special use would affect contiguous properties. But what I'm hearing is there are a lot of issues. Judy, the bridge. There is a restricted covenant on the use of that private road. PennDOT apparently has jurisdiction to determine the appropriate method of permitting the access of that road, the private road to Route 136. And these are a whole lot of issues that we don't have either control of or sufficient evidence to make a determination as to what should be done. And in the end, it is PennDOT that has to make a decision. And if there is a restrictive covenant, it is up to the participants in that agreement to decide how to enforce it. But we look primarily to the property itself. It seems to me, for comments, it seems to me that if we just look to that property and look to this application, you're doing what you should do. But the problem I am faced with is your use of that property as you have described will have an impact on a lot of areas that are beyond the jurisdiction of the zoning hearing board. Tom? Am I going in the right direction?
You are, sir. That would be correct.
So I'm hesitant to say approved, because what that would do is it would throw a whole lot back at you to enforce these other provisions.
Well, as was indicated, Chairman, it could be approved subject to conditions, one being that they meet all federal, state, and local requirements. But I think that's as far as the zoning hearing board would want to do is, like you said, these other issues are really outside the jurisdiction.
Yeah, Thomas, even the one concern I have is the restrictive covenant. We don't know anything about that, and we can't do anything about that. All right, and be real direct.
Well, this young lady did say she would provide that, and we could, if you want to continue the meeting, we could, for a decision, we could take a look at that. That's up to the board.
Can you negotiate resolution of these issues, or would you be willing to talk to one another about them?
I think the strong contract has been in place and concern about liability because we, less than 4 months ago, Portugal almost did fall into the creek from the bridge. Because the person didn't cut it right. We have evidence and pictures of it. Who pays for that to get that bridge or to get that trailer out? Who has access to the driveway? I can't get to my house while they're trying to get that trailer out.
Can you
What-
clarify, I'm sorry, is the bridge on the private road or is it,
It's on
okay,
the private road, but it's on my property.
okay. It's not on 136, it's not on Davis School, it is on the actual easement road. It's not the right of way?
No, that's not a problem.
Well, you guys hit the
So I
jackpot over there.
need to have a very strong contract that resolves all of the properties that are under liability. If someone has something happening and how quickly access to the road would be restored.
Can I speak? I-
Please, up here.
Sorry. This is like really weird. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I have a video of me driving down the driveway because I wanted to show my parents. So I don't know if I can submit that to you. It doesn't have like your houses in it or anything. It's just me turning into the driveway so that you could see it. I don't know if that would,
Turning into which driveway from where? From the
Um,
private road to
I'm
your
sorry,
driveway?
turning into the private
You're
lane,
next. She can, please let her finish.
turning into the private lane from 136, if that's Davis School Road, you make a left and that's 136 that the Spring House is on. Is that correct? So it would be turning off of 136 onto the private lane, driving up the driveway.
We don't need it.
Okay, I don't know if you care to see that.
Because that intersection is beyond the scope of the zoning hearing board.
You mean where the bridge that they're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I don't own the property yet, so we wouldn't have been able to make an agreement because
Would you want to talk to one another about how those issues could
That
be
would
within
be
the
up to
restrictive
them.
covenant that does exist? And remember, there is an agreement that does exist that 7 property owners participate in, at least 4 we know of. And you would have to work within that agreement. And then there's also the PennDOT issue. And I mean, quite honestly, everything I've heard says that access of the private road, 136, needs to be permitted by PennDOT.
So what access do they currently have to use that?
None.
Okay, so no, okay, I was just checking. So nobody has access. And then as far as the
Everybody has access, but nobody has
permission,
permitted
okay.
access.
And then the private bridge that you're talking about, how many times have you had to replace that since you've lived there, Mr. Fulton? And you were there 28 years. Twice. And how long were you there prior to Mr. Fulton? So in 40 years, it's been replaced twice with the current amount of traffic that it's had. I tried to meet with them previously, and clearly Mr. Fulton called me and I didn't get to call him back, and I'm sorry about that. But I was never contacted until Friday about any of their concerns. So I would have been happy to address them sooner if I could have, and I'm happy to do that now. I am Mr. Graphiotis.
Very good, doctor.
I'm sorry. You were reading through like all the standards for specific use. I agree that I don't want this to be a Dollar General in 50 years for their sake. And hopefully I build my life there as well. I'm just turned 30, maybe we want to have a family. I don't know. So I don't want that either. I have been Robin's vet for the last 3 years. I ride at Robin's house. He allows me, because I'm his vet, to use the facility. He has an indoor riding arena there. So I haul my own horse trailer there in and out. And I do agree that people drive way too fast on that road every time I come in. So I understand the concerns that they have. Obviously, they have been there significantly longer and know, but I do agree that there is a lot of traffic just on 136. But I haven't had any issues yet, not that I've been there that long, but I think that that's something to obviously talk to. Like they said, like that sounds like a PennDOT issue that I would be interested in pursuing. It sounds like if we caused a problem to the bridge, then we would fix that, obviously. Or maybe not obviously. I know people suck, so I don't know how that works out. But I think that if the road is currently
One way to
shared.
work that out is for you to sign an agreement with the other property owners that says if you do damage to
To
the
the
bridge
facility
within 7
or-
days, you will repair the bridge to at least its original condition.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I understand these folks, if something would happen to that bridge, they'd be stuck. They'd be no way for them to get to
Mhm.
136.
Since it's on our property, since the bridge is on my property, are we then liable? We could be put in a suit with somebody saying that the bridge is not adequate to transport horse trailers. I don't want to be put in that situation.
Sure, I could certainly see an attorney suing everybody involved, sure. Not me, but some
I
people.
currently have all the liability that I need for the property that we're at. So I would assume that I would continue to have insurance for all of these things. And obviously,
That'll be interesting. I've talked to my insurance agent about that.
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Usually insurance companies won't insure your liability.
Okay. It sounds like she's very certain, but I would have to look into that.
So you're
Yeah.
into things like, would you bond the bridge?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, there just seem to be so many issues that are extraneous to the property that we could tell you, go ahead and grant the exception. But you may regret that when PennDOT comes. And somebody will eventually call PennDOT.
It seems like it, yes. What I would be, so this is step one for us. We thought this was like the right way to go about this, to see if this was even an option, because we will be spending everything we have plus taking out a loan to buy this property. So I think that step one would be, could we have a special exception to have a vet clinic there? I was not made aware of the deed by Robin, but he previously tried to sell the property and ran into some of these issues. And I thought the only thing that we were losing by trying to do this the right way was time, really, because we had to, get all our paperwork in. So I am aware that there's going to be steps that need to happen before that we could do this.
It's our obligation to make a decision concerning the property. But what I clearly recognize is there are a lot of issues between the property and Route 136. And our granting this permission doesn't really do anything except maybe cause disagreements between you and your neighbors. And I don't think we get anything out of that. Make sure, were you sworn?
I think she was next.
I was just make a real quick suggestion. You guys out for what you're looking at. Kristen could pull up the Washington County parcel viewer. You could see, like, you'd be looking at it from above, and that might help you guys more. That's all I was gonna recommend.
Thank
You
you.
keep asking the questions, you can easily pull that up and you guys could see it and have a better visual.
Kristen was good enough to show that to us in executive session already.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Ma'am, you need to be sworn in.
Yes. Megan Bruce.
Address?
I don't live in South Street.
Okay.
I work for her.
All right, fine.
Okay, so I do work for Dr. Haley, but I'm also a real estate agent with Howard Hanna. And Robin actually had asked me a few years ago to look into listing his property. And we had the discussion. So then I just recently started working for Haley this year. And when she came to me, I said, oh, I'm familiar with the property. I'm familiar with the issues, because I was the real estate agent that one of them. It's been listed a few times. I don't really have anything to say more than just some questions that I feel like because I work for Haley and I help her get this stuff together. Like she said, it is step one, and I know there are issues, I guess, proposing to the neighbors. Have you went to PennDOT and have you got anywhere with that? And so like he's saying, I think a lot of the issues that we're hearing is that the issue is with the road itself and that it's not their jurisdiction, it's PennDOT. And for Dr. Haley and Scott to be part of the neighborhood, she just wants to be a good neighbor and we could help that issue. We're unfamiliar with where you got and how we could maybe help. We want to help, like that's where she's at. And I think as far as a real estate agent, I understand easements and having like the written road maintenance. And I know you guys don't, because again, I talked with Robin whenever I went to list it a few years ago. Is that something you guys would want, or are you good? I guess that's like part of the discussion, is discussions they can have without you guys. But I think that is, if they would grant this, I think like what Haley said is that she would like to still continue the conversations to get the road issue figured out. So that's just my comment, is that I just don't know where they got as far as PennDOT. And since you're knowledgeable, like what do you want? What would you want us to look into?
We just spoke with the other PennDOT after we got the notice this past week, just to understand what if PennDOT had any.
If PennDOT had already had any restrictions in place, and that's when we found out that it is currently not permitted. That was the first that we were made aware of that situation. And what they had told us as the property owners of where the entrance goes on to 136, we are the ones who have to submit a permit based on the existing use. And then if someone later wants to submit something for a further change in use, then that would have to happen later.
Is there an easement? Obviously, Robin has an easement to use that road. So wouldn't that be part of, like, he has an easement to use it? So you keep saying it's your property, but there is an easement.
The road is
for him
not
to
on the
use it.
easement. That's part of the problem.
Okay. So like, that's stuff we're not aware of. That's why I'm just.
One at a time, because she can't take notes for everyone.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We weren't aware of it either. We just found out
Okay.
because, like we said, Skelly said, where the problem with the road is up there, they own part of that. I don't own that part. I don't have easement up at the top of the road, or Robert does too. Yeah, the two of them are almost landlocked. Right. But his property and the people.
Great discussion, great discussion.
Can you change
And I think that is an appropriate discussion among you and not with us. I think we ought to continue this and give you all, you got a real estate expert, you've got somebody that has a desire, you have a whole lot of experience. Somebody said over 100 years. So you know the objective, you know the history of the property. It is very recent that the PennDOT issue has been investigated. I think what we ought to do is continue this and suggest you talk together and see if you can come back at some unspecified time. And then we'll act, and that act may be to approve, it may be to reject. I mean,
Hold on. We have 45 days to make a decision. So we'd have to be doing that within the next 45 days, which would normally be at our September meeting. If the applicant can agree to give us an extension, but if you're forcing us to act, we'd have 45 days from tonight.
We're willing to work. Yeah, we're willing to work with them.
Sure, whatever.
Okay, so can you state on the record then that you waive the 45 days for us to make a decision?
I leave 45 days.
Okay, that way then like we can have a continued even in our October meeting if they need more time. We have advertised meetings every month. And then this young lady over here that submitted the email, if you could submit to Kristen those deeds, we'd certainly like to take a look at those. Sure, ma'am. Doctor, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So nobody even uses the road that's actually on the subdivision?
No, there's only one road.
But it's not on the right of way.
It wasn't built the right way.
It's off the easement.
We only found that out when the subdivision went apart. I got my property surveyed.
How far off the map is it?
Oh, it's all.
It's like split in half, basically.
Our property was never supposed to be.
Well, this is a hell of a case.
It's a less hypothetical.
So like I'm a-
Can you come up to the mic anytime you speak?
How do you know you make it? Okay. I knew it was that fast.
Okay.
Hold on, one at a time, please. If you haven't gotten sworn in yet, can you do this? So now, ma'am, you were sworn in already, right? You in the front? Did you want to offer any comment? Sir in the orange shirt, you were not sworn in, were you?
No.
Did you want to comment?
No.
Okay. Well, I just, there was crosstalk and she put things down, so I wanted to give you the opportunity if you wanted to make a statement.
Tom, do we have in the record that the applicant is waiving the 45 days?
Yes. So I guess you all could talk and then let this young lady know when we can have another hearing.
And we can close this meeting tonight and continue
To the next,
until we hear from.
a
the
general,
applicant.
yes, a general continuance until we hear from the applicant.
I move we continue until the applicant contacts us.
And lets us know we're ready for a continued hearing.
So moved. All in favor?
Thank you. Feel like I'm in law school again.
This meeting of the South Strabane Township Zoning Hearing Board is concluded. I thank you all.